Hey guys, so you might be wondering what's going on with this motor. I've got it fully apart out of the car again. So I got a little bit keen when I was putting it together the first time and just gapped the rings way too big. I was too worried about them butting together, but I found as it was running, just idling and sort of moving it around, there was quite a bit of blow by and it was filling up the catch can and that sort of stuff. So I thought, while this COVID thing's on, it's all locked down, I'm just gonna rip it out, bought a new set of rings, and yeah, just got them in, re-gapped them, gapped them a lot tighter this time, still enough that should be right for boost. So just putting the motor together again now, about to put the sump back on, flip it over, then I'll do the heads and that sort of thing. So yeah, there's the engine. I'll take you in and show you where the chassis and body are at. There's the body just sitting there, and chassis just sitting here doing its thing. So that whole front clip pulls off with the radiator and all that sort of stuff connected up. There you go, transmission's still in there. Picked up another stall for it as well. It's only a little one too. It's only got about 2,000, but it will hopefully stop that wheel spin at idle. So yeah, let's get this motor back together. Check it out, it's back together. So I ended up pulling the motor down, just gapped the rings a bit smaller. I'd ended up getting a bit too keen before. Went way bigger than I had to, and there was a heap of blow-by filling up the catch can, so pulled it all down, new rings, checked over the bearings and everything, and it's all back together. So I've now fitted the larger 8-rib belt and larger pulley here, so that'll just drop the boost a little bit. I'm estimating around £9 maybe, but we'll see once we get stuck into it. What else has changed? So the carby's now been modified. It's got that line there coming off the manifold for boost referencing, the power valves. So that should be all good. I fitted another little stallie, just a little 2000 stallie, which will hopefully help with the just the spinning at idle and stuff. So yeah, there's only one thing I've got to do before I get sort of really stuck into it. I'm going to make something that comes off here with some 2 or 3 mil steel plate, like a scatter shield sort of thing that goes right over the top. Underneath those they wet mounted to it, just to sort of protect my legs if the auto lets go. I've also made a new pedal with a bit longer throw. The old mini pedal, it was bending and flexing with the every time you push the throttle, and I couldn't get full throttle. So that one, it's a lot longer throw. I'm able to actually push it easily, push against the pumps and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, got a nice new cable for that. Set up, oil coolers fitted. So yeah, I'll throw some stockies on it. I might take it out to a little concrete pad on a block of land, go out there and just give it a little test skid, see how it goes. Just watch the temp and all the stuff, see if I can actually data log that with the laptop while it's going. Yeah, just check everything's working right, then as long as that's all good, I'll try and get it on the dyno somewhere. It's looking like I won't be able to get back to Victoria anytime soon, so I'll have to find somewhere in New South Wales or somewhere in Wagga even to throw it on. But yeah, I'll just start her up, put her in the garage so I can clean out the shed and just set this camera up. Well, that surely didn't fix my spinning thing at idle. So even with the big 275 drag radials, just at idle, it was just sitting there spinning, throwing up rubber. Oh well. Other than that, everything seems really bloody good, so I'm stoked. Alright, so before I put the body back on, I've got these old wheels. They're 14 by 10 with a little speedway tyre on there, and I just sit it there for a mock-up, but how cool does that look? I might have to make another little chassis one day, just a really basic go-kart style thing, just to make it sort of run on some wheels like that. Pretty rad. Oops, there goes a pair of safety glasses. Look at the old hand cut slicks. Yeah, so I just thought I'd give you a little look at that. I reckon that looks pretty rad. Alright, so I just made up some cardboard templates. This is for my scatter shield, which will go over the top of there. So I'm going to go down to the steel shop, get these cut out in some 3mm sheet, and then bring it back, tack it together, and make sure it's all right, and paint it up and fit it. But I feel a lot safer with that hanging around the tunnel and protecting my legs and stuff. So let's get it done. Alright, so steel's all cut, there it is. Some 3mm sheet. So I got them to cut that all to size for me. Only costs, yeah, 44 bucks. So I reckon that's pretty good. So now I've got to, I'll just go along and grind all the edges where I've got to do welds, just to get the oil and shit off them, and then I can start tacking it up and yeah, get it in there. So would you believe that steel isn't as easy to bend as this cardboard when I was forming it all up? So that 3mm is a bit of a mission, but you can see there, I've just put a few, I've cleaned up all those edges, I've just tacked it, and then at the back there I put a few cuts and just tacked that as well. So that's about as close as I'm going to get that, I think. It's going to sit somewhere like that. This piece will end up going across the top, and then obviously the same on the other side. So I'm feeling pretty confident about that. I don't know if I'm going to tie it back into this, or I might weld a bit of angle or something along there, and there's some like 20 by 20s going across the floor. I might tie it into them with some bolts through there. But it's yeah, coming up pretty good. Oh, look at that. There we go. Should keep my legs safe. So I'll tack the inside of that and then go and test fit it. So there it is. I'm happy with that. I don't know how somehow I just made those cardboard things and it all just worked absolutely perfectly. I've got all the angles right and everything, so yeah, that's cool. I'll have to weld that up properly, and certainly going to feel a lot safer with, yeah, that there. So that's cool. Got that hole there for the shifter cable, the hole there for the wires for the starter, and yeah, I'll weld it all up, get it cleaned up and painted, and Bob's your uncle. Well, it's ready to paint. Oh, pretty good. So I've welded all the inside obviously, and then yeah, I'll have to just go and choose some paint, but pretty happy with how that looks, and that 3mm should protect me pretty well. Alright, check it out. So this is all the lower leg safety I need, hopefully. So 3mm sheet. I just welded this little leg off the back to keep the shifter in the same position. Mounted that. So yeah, there we go. Steel. Now I've just got to mount it on the sides, but for now, throw it in, get the shifter hooked back up, and we're going again. Alright, so it's time to test this thing. I got it just on the trailer out here. Just got some old 15-inch tyres on the back. Yeah, basically over there I got a little bit of concrete, just a tiny little bit. So I'm going to get it off. I'll drive it around, warm it up, do a few donuts and that sort of thing. I'm going to put the laptop in and log it all. Just make sure like the belt stays on, got no leaks, just to see how everything works, and then finally just try and make some smoke. So we'll see what happens. Plug that in so I can start datalogging it, and see if we get some temp, see if the fans come on, all that sort of stuff. So live with me. Working so far. It's about 65 degrees coolant temp. Once it gets up to about 80, I think the fans kick in. So I'll just set the camera up here, and might come and do a couple of donuts, get it, see how the belt goes, see if it stays on there, all that sort of stuff, and then we'll try a bit of a skid. All right, so this is just a little screen capture on the Mega Log Viewer, which I can look at all these data logs that I took while I was doing all that. So yeah, that's where I fired up. Everything's really good at idle. Obviously, gave it a few little revs or something there. Yeah, so fuel pressure. This is all in kPa. So fuel pressure down the bottom is sitting at just about 6 psi. Oil pressure's at 381, which is 55 pound. Coolant temp 74 degrees. Battery 14.3 volts. Base ignition angle is 20 degrees. 1180 RPM and minus 63.7 map, which is about minus 9 psi. So I'll go along and see what else is going on here. So what drops there? The coolant temp. I must have flicked on the fans. You see that one in the middle. The coolant temp just gradually dropping. Probably went way too cool. The cooling system was working too good. So I'm not sure what was happening here. I think I was just driving, gave it a bit of a rev, then was cruising along to where I was going to go into the burnout. Oh, that would have been my donuts actually. So everything's staying pretty good. The fuel pressure is going up and down. Looks like quite a lot, but it's only sort of half a psi or something. Everything else is looking good. So here's where I actually do my little burnout. Doesn't go for long. So you can see at the top the map sensor, she's in the negative. Then it just goes up to the positive there for a little bit. It's only making about 2.5 psi there because I wasn't full throttle. It was just half or a third throttle or something while I was seeing. I think I gave it one stab with a little bit more, but I didn't make much boost at all. So you can see at the bottom there, that green line, the fuel pressure drops just a little bit. It drops to about 4 psi there. So I might just have to look at upping that a little bit to make sure that doesn't lean out when you sort of really get into it. Oil pressure went up there during the skid to about 549. I think that's about 80 psi. So that's good. That's good. It's sitting there while it's hitting a few revs at sort of 6,500 RPM. Ignition angle. What's that? Well, it's making boost, so it's sitting at 25. It's only making 2.5 pounds, so that should be pretty safe. And then when I back off, it jumps back up to 37. I'm not sure whether that's good or not. That's why I'm no expert in this, so that's why I really didn't get stuck in for a long time and try and play the tyres just in case it stuffed up and detonated or whatever. Like I got a few dollars invested in this motor. Yeah, so oil pressure's good. Fuel pressure just dropped a little bit. I have to look at that. Battery voltage stays really constant. Coolant temp's great. Yeah, it's just making a little bit of boost. I estimate it might make maybe 6 or 7 or 8 pound or something when I'm really getting stuck into it, which is probably pretty good. So yeah, that's it. It's a handy little tool. Done this data log. And yeah, basically everything looks really safe, so I'm happy with that. Hope you guys sort of enjoyed it. It's a little bit nerdy looking at all this stuff, but it's kind of interesting as well just to know exactly what's going on because you can't take it in all while it's happening. So yeah, next step, basically try and find a dyno and someone to have a look at it and then really lean on it and should be ready to go.